Hello, I'm James Harvey, the professor of music theory at the College of Southern Nevada with 5-Minute Music Theory. Start the timer. I'm going to go over to the note flight screen where you're going to see a 3-bar melody that has a rather large error in it. And that error has to do with something called a tendency tone. But let's listen to it first and listen to see if you hear any sort of uneasiness in this melody. Something a little bit weird in that second measure, right? And it has to do with this pitch, which is a tendency tone. This is the leading tone. The leading tone is the 7th scale degree in major and the raised 7th scale degree in minor, and it is considered a very strong tendency tone. It's called a tendency tone because it has a tendency. It tends to move up to the 1st scale degree, and it is not here. So that's where we get that uneasiness. Like that. It comes back to the A. When that B happens, it really has a strong tendency. And I'll even show you how strong that tendency is by getting rid of the rest of the melody. And then listen to that one note just by itself at the end, and it just sounds so uneasy. Your ears are probably even telling you what the next note is. So we can fix that by writing a C here, like that. Like that. Now we do need to make sure that the melody is conforming to the harmonies that are backing this melody. But basically this rule is whenever you've written a leading tone in the melody, it needs to be it needs to be left by step up to the 1st scale degree. The only exception to that is when we see something like this. Let me clear some space. We'll start with a C up here. And I'm going from a 1st scale degree down to a 5th scale degree. Let me play it. The leading tone is here, but it's part of a scale, so it doesn't have that tendency anymore. So whenever you've written a leading tone in a melody, and it's not part of a 1 to 5 downward motion, then it needs to be left up to that 1st scale degree. Otherwise, it's hanging out there, and it creates a nasty segment of your melody, which you can strengthen by going up to the 1st scale degree. There is another tendency tone, which is the 4th scale degree, but it's a little bit trickier to deal with. That'll have more to do with when we get into 7th chords. But the strongest tendency tone is that leading tone. We have to worry about that in major and minor. Now remember, in minor, the leading tone is raised. When it's a natural 7th scale degree, you don't have to worry about it. It's only specifically about the leading tone, which does have to resolve to 1 whenever we write it in a melody, unless it's part of a 1, 7, 6, 5 downward motion. Thank you.